From Amir Johnson's double dribble getting missed by the referee, to Kawhi Leonard's injury creating the Zaza Pachulia rule, these are the worst referee calls in NBA history. Missing a few subtle fouls is pretty common, but it looks like a joke when a referee misses an obvious one, like Amir Johnson's double dribble. I mean, come on, it isn't that hard to point one out, but that's exactly what happened during the Trailblazers versus Raptors game in 2012. At the beginning of the first quarter, things were going on at a slow pace. Johnson got the ball and started dribbling while moving to the right. Then he turned and dribbled in the other direction. The referee was like, whoa, and didn't say anything. But this is where the problem began. After a brief pause, he started dribbling again and managed to score a basket. You'd have to be blind not to have seen that one. But God knows what the referee was doing, because that guy did not give him a violation. In fact, Johnson was even laughing because the situation was that crazy. For everyone who thought they were just imagining it, all they had to do was take one look at the Trailblazers coach, Terry Stotts. The look on that guy's face was priceless. Like I'd give anything to watch that moment live with his jaw dropping and an "are you kidding me right now" look on his face. But I don't think this holds a candle to the Warriors versus Rockets incident in 2019, where the referee accidentally, and note the sarcasm here, forgot to call the foul. This happened not once, not twice, but multiple times. Let's just say the game was pretty controversial. The Rockets had some serious issues with the Warriors players, blocking their landing after jump shots. If you're not familiar with this rule, don't worry, cause it's one that came out pretty late in 2017. In Game 1, the Warriors really got in James Harden's face when he was going for those three-point shots. It was like they were playing some serious mind games with him. But let me tell you about the craziest moment of the game. With less than 20 seconds left and the Rockets trailing by 3, they managed to steal the ball from the Warriors, which gave them a golden opportunity to tie the game. Harden, being his usual self, pulled off one of his signature step-back threes. He even tried to make it look like he got fouled by Draymond Green, but the refs didn't buy it. No foul was called, can you believe it? To make matters worse, the Rockets ended up turning the ball over on the offensive rebound, and that sealed the deal for the Warriors. But sometimes, these referees tend to make mistakes even during crucial overtime minutes, which was the case in the Grizzlies versus Knicks game in 2022. The Knicks kicked off their season with a visit to the young Memphis Grizzlies. Things weren't looking too good for the Knicks at first, as they were trailing by a whopping 19 points in the third quarter. But hey, at least they didn't give up. They made a comeback and managed to send the game into overtime with just 7 seconds left in the extra period. Now here's the twist. The NBA's official said that the Grizzlies' star player, Ja Morant, actually stepped out of bounds while dribbling the ball up the sideline, and the referees somehow missed that call. This was super important for the Knicks because they were down by 3 points at the time. But even though the Knicks still had a shot to tie the game with only 3 seconds remaining, Evan Fournier couldn't sink the final three-pointer. Now, even though it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game, the report later revealed yet another wrong non-call. Fournier had stepped out of bounds before taking that shot. But honestly speaking, I'd take a non-call over the ref declaring a turnover any day. Sadly, the Bucks weren't in a position to make this choice. In the Bucks versus 76ers match in 2022, the two teams went head-to-head in a total Eastern Conference showdown. It was a nail-biter with just 9 seconds left on the clock and the Bucks up by a single point. Embiid from the Sixers was trying to find Maxey for a play, but a player from the Bucks managed to deflect the ball outside. Here's the thing though, the refs called it a Sixers ball, which they probably shouldn't have done so early. The NBA official report later revealed it was a bad call, because it turns out Maxey did touch the ball last, and it grazed his fingertips. Yup, the report called out 2 mistakes by the refs on the very next possession. But the refs' bad calls didn't stop there. These guys need to take a break. In the next possession, Harden traveled before driving into the basket, but the ref made no call. And there's more. There was another non-call during the battle for a rebound between Brook Lopez and Embiid. Lopez fouled Embiid as he held onto his arm, messing up Embiid's chance to go for the rebound. And let me tell you, this non-call right here was a game changer. Embiid could have sunk 2 free throws and taken the lead. Speaking of non-calls that affected the game, we have the time Paul George was robbed of his basket. In 2018, Paul George was finishing an amazing season with the Thunder, and he was on fire. Everything was looking good for him and his team until the playoffs rolled around. They found themselves in a tough spot during the first round of the playoffs, trailing 3-2 in a series against the Jazz. The tension was high, and every play mattered. With the game winding down and the Thunder trailing 94-91, guess who had the ball? Yep, you guessed it, Paul George. Everyone in the arena held their breath as he went up for a game-tying three-pointer. But to everyone's disappointment, the ball fell way short of the mark. And just like that, the Jazz won the game and the series. Hello, what just happened? Upon reviewing the replay, it was crystal clear that Rudy Gobert, the Jazz player guarding George, went all out and practically mauled him during the shot. I mean, there was no denying the contact. It was as clear as day. In one of the most controversial and downright terrible no-calls ever witnessed, the refs decided to turn a blind eye to the obvious foul. Unbelievable. While the ref was guilty of non-calls here, this next one was a wrong call that got overturned at the last minute. The first game of the 2018 NBA Finals always reminds us of J.R. Smith's huge blunder that cost the Cavs a win in regulation. But thanks to a key mistake by the referees earlier, the Cavs' fate was sealed long before that. The Cavs were behind 104-102, and there were only about 30 seconds left on the clock. Kevin Durant of the Warriors drives to the basket and runs into LeBron James as he does so. Now the officials got together and chose to charge Durant, saying that LeBron was outside the restricted area. So they could be sure. They even checked the call again. After some back and forth, they changed their minds and gave LeBron a foul for blocking. This meant that Durant could shoot a free throw to tie the game. The kicker is that the call couldn't be reviewed, which makes it hard to know what the judges were trying to do that night. And that's when things started to go wrong. We all know what happened after that. The Cavs sadly didn't get a win at Oracle Arena. Instead, they lost all 4 games and the Warriors won their 3rd NBA title in 4 years. Damn, that must have hurt. Now, this next ref non-call had such a huge impact that it even got turned into an NBA rule. If you've heard of the blocking the landing of a jump shot foul, then this is where it came from. In 2017, the Spurs versus Warriors game was going pretty heated, but the real problem was because of what happened in the third quarter. Both the teams were running pretty tight when Kawhi Leonard, who was playing for the Spurs at the time, got the ball and went straight in for a 3. And this wasn't just any ordinary three-pointer, he went in for a jump shot. When you're in the air like that, you need to land properly, or there can be some serious problems, like twisting your ankle, which Kawhi found out the hard way. Zaza Pachulia's foot was on the place he was supposed to land, and Kawhi instantly fell to the ground, grabbing his ankle in pain. If Pachulia did that on purpose, the ref sure as hell didn't call him out. Leonard was down for the rest of the game, and the Spurs lost the championship. So, there you have it, guys. From Kawhi Leonard's injury creating the Zaza Pachulia rule to Amir Johnson's double dribble getting missed by the referee, those were the worst referee calls in NBA history.